what creates a reaction like this?
What is happening?
That was insane. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god!
Well, one thing definitely contributes to this. Good music. The song entitled Wildfire plays in the final boss fight of the world, Eurilo 6, and it does so at just the right moment. When the antagonist, Cocolia, is using her strongest attack on you, the chorus drops. This switch to a vocal-led, bombastic tune really gives a strong indicator to why everyone who played the boss switched from a whoa-jack to a whoa, turn up that track. But I think more is needed to explain exactly why this moment hits the high that it does. And I don't think it's just the music here. Ultimately, I think it's a soul, a fulcrum that peaks at just the right moment so as to give you a sense of elated freefall. But what facets need to come together, besides good music, to create this? And what does this say about the state of gacha as a whole? Well, to answer the first question, the first thing you need is heart.
We are guardians, Mother, chosen from among the masses. Our duty is to preserve the world built by humanity.
Bronya is a knight of Belobog, someone who fights for the survival of humanity. Belobog is the last bastion of humanity, a city struck by a never-ending icy tempest. The unending cold and hordes of monsters attacking are all because of a Stellaron. She's lived in a world that, because of that Stellaron, doesn't want her or humanity in it, but she chooses to fight for it anyway. We meet Bronya when she's subservient to her mother. She's someone who, while not unthinkingly, is taking orders from her mother, orders that she believes are the best for humanity, at least initially. Also, you guys ever notice how her hair looks like 3 ice cream cones? Mom! Wait, they're not ice cream, they're drowned! Bronya was born in the underground, a place that was eventually sealed off and left to fend for itself against the Stellaron threat. While the surface was suffering from monster hordes in the cold, the underground was suffering also from monster hordes, but also from a lack of supplies and assistance. There, those who wished to fight back created a group called Wildfire. In it, people with a strong will to save the underground joined together so they could see the surface, see a brighter tomorrow. Both Bronya and Wildfire represent the fight for a better tomorrow. As a player, we're thrown onto this world and all we know is that, well, it ain't looking too good for the people there. But we slowly come to learn that even though things look bleak, there are characters like Bronya and those in Wildfire who want to push ahead anyway. Bronya and Wildfire then act as the heart to this story. There's something that we connect with, and the story sets them up in such a way where we understand the fight central to their world and what these characters have been through in their quest. This makes their fight resonate with the player, more so than if we just happened onto this world and fought Cocolia to get the Stellaron. A big moment needs big characters that we connect to, and I think these characters fit the bill perfectly. A heart by itself simply isn't enough though. There also needs to be a theme. The theme then, to this story, something that Bronya and Wildfire both represent, is the theme of preservation. Humanity is at its brink, and both Bronya and those in the underground want to preserve humanity's existence. Preservation is also attached to a god here too, one whose servants inhabit this world, the god named Klipoth. And also your main character meets them in a simulated universe run by a doll woman who's a clone that runs a space station with a gun that tells you that you're mid, and Asta and Arlen, who don't seem to like working for the doll, but also Arlen has to have low health to do damage anyway, and also, what was I talking about again? Not losing track of a central theme is important. Each character and central focus of the story is attached to this idea of preservation. People often undersell the importance of thematic cohesion in a written work because it's often something that's under the surface. It's the connective tissue that moves the muscles of the narrative. In other words, it isn't the thing that outwardly flexes on you. But I can. I bet you don't have this limited edition Glycotoma plushie. If you press on it, it says things.
If you're free, why not come with me to the market? The vegetables are freshest earlier in the day. My father died at sea.
Bronya embodies preservation. Wildfire lives it, and Cocolia opposes it. She wants humanity gone. She wants everyone to scream because we all scream for Ice Queen. Cocolia is the antagonist of Eurilo 6, the supreme guardian of Belobog and Bronya's adoptive mother. She represents the opposite of preservation. Rather, she's more about letting humanity be eradicated. Cocolia is our third component. She is friction. She actively takes steps to thwart our party, such as sealing off the underground and taking the necessary steps to have Belobog destroyed. This wasn't because she was some crazy crystal mommy, but rather because she is some crazy corrupted crystal mommy. At some point in her early life, the Stellaron crept into her head and made refuge. This eventually caused her to succumb to its wishes of humanity's destruction on the planet, so she turned away from the teachings of preservation in lieu of the idea that a new world can be born after humanity's destruction. Cocolia is important for 3 reasons. 1, she gives us an antagonist that's directly connected to our heart, so it raises the stakes to the character who we follow. 2, because she's once again connected to the theme of our story. And 3, because I said so. Don't question me. But there's also another important note here with Cocolia. It sets up the Stellaron for the entire story of Honkai Star Rail. I'm sure that you were like me when the game started and you were wondering, well, what is a Stellaron? And while I'm still not 100% sure on that, I can definitely tell you now that it can be pretty antithetical to, existing, which is probably a pretty bad thing. But it brings up an even greater point. If that's the case, how is our protagonist supposed to deal with their Stellaron? And this leads me to the final component, a spark. Our protagonist is born because of this dead-eyed mommy, and they learn that they have a Stellaron inside them. The Stellaron is attached to their being. They're told that, essentially, at any moment, it could explode, and that wouldn't be too good. It can't be removed, either. It's like playing a game of Operation, except if while you were playing it, you also had a bomb, and it could go off at any moment because it was inside of you. Oh, I touched something.
My father died at...
So our protagonist, all newborn and such, has to grapple with the idea that they have a bomb inside of them that's ever ticking down. That's a, pretty depressing thought, and they join the Astral Express crew without really any idea of where they're going or what they're trying to do. They only join to spare those on the space station a random death. Landing on Eurilo 6, our protagonist isn't sure what they should do. They're just wandering, but after experiencing the cold, then experiencing the underground and Wildfire, they see that so many others are challenging hopeless scenarios. Those on Eurilo 6 are fighting a never-ending, effectively hopeless battle. And while the Astral Express can help suppress the Stellaron, there's no guarantee that it will save the planet. Bronya, Wildfire, and the others on the planet show the protagonist that they shouldn't give up. So they step up and face Cocolia, someone who embodies the Stellaron. But because of those they've come into contact with, those faced with hopeless scenarios, the Trailblazer decides to face Cocolia and fight. And then they die, but in that one area where Eren is in Attack on Titan, the Trailblazer still has hope. So in the face of death, they challenge the unknown and grasp the will of preservation to push forward, regardless of what faces them in the future. When they return, and when they choose to fight, this is where the track drops.
We made a choice, go fight against your
Bronya facing her mother for the future she believes in, Cocolia who succumbed to the Stellaron fighting against humanity, and the Trailblazer standing tall against the Stellaron that threatens their every waking moment. In the face of all of this, in the face of world-ending power, they stand true, wielding the power of preservation. A heart, a theme, a friction, and a spark all come together to create this moment and these reactions. But this moment doesn't end there. After it, whenever you use your special, that drop happens again, all to push forward what the game is truly talking about. The entirety of Honkai Star Rail is talking about a fight against fate. This boss battle is more than just a moment in Star Rail, but rather a moment in gacha gaming as a whole. Like the Trailblazer, something is instilled into the player here, the assurance that, unlike the gacha of the past, gacha gaming can offer immense narrative weight. And this moment, in this one gacha game, does exactly what the Trailblazer does as well. It challenges the path that people thought gacha would go down and challenges its fate.